Now just heading to Bowen Hills railway station, where I had that pain in the arse taxi driver give me all manner of hell for having the audacity not to give him a marathon length fare. I think from now on this will be a better way for me to get to the hospital from this station, unless the weather's absolutely miserable. So we'll see. There it is down there. Not the most picturesque place on earth, but it does serve its function. It doesn't have connections with buses, which is a bit of a drag. But all the trains go down there, so that's all that matters right now, because I'm going to be heading back towards the airport. Oh well, it's an overcast Tuesday, almost midday, and I'm going to go and get the bus down to Cairns, and I'm going to do a few things, medical mainly, but I might go to the showgrounds and do an early vote for the election, the state election. The early voting opened yesterday on the 14th, so yeah, just see how I feel. Actually, the weather's not too bad. If it's not raining or whatever, I can get the bus down there anyway if I want to. See how I feel. My energy levels were terrible yesterday, but and I had a bit of a headache when I went to bed, probably because of all the stress of travel to Brisbane, plus those flight delays thanks to Qantas, who is that's an airline that I have very little regard for now. I think they're in real trouble. They've taken their eye off the ball when it comes to customer service. You know, if you delay a flight 3 times, end up being about 3 hours delayed. You'd expect to have some pretty pissed off customers. But the only apology that I got was in the actual text, the SMS text that was sent, and it just said sorry. So that was it. The actual pilot didn't apologise, which I found extraordinary, because if you travel Jetstar and there's delays, the pilots generally acknowledge it and do apologise to the passengers. So I just think that Qantas is really going downhill fast, and I would actually now rate Jetstar higher, because little things like you can actually get a G&T on Jetstar. You have to pay unless you pay an extra higher airfare, which is what I generally do to give myself flexibility with changing dates. So I get a freebie thrown in, which is really nice. But they will give you the ingredients for a G&T, and it's not bad gin either, I've got to say. But you can't get it on a Qantas flight. All they offer is beer and wine. That's it. At one stage I was wondering whether they had any alcohol, because I mean, my opinion of them was dropping so fast. I tried to board the plane, and I was told to go to wait because I had the wrong number on my boarding pass. They've got a numbered system, and the guy was just an asshole about it. I mean, any reasonable person would just say, look, just go through. It's only one person, for God's sake. But he made me go back outside and wait for the announcer on the PA, which I couldn't understand. Luckily there was a passenger nearby me who could actually understand the PA and told me when I could actually board. But if he hadn't told me, I wouldn't have had a clue. But that's just an example of how bad their customer service is. It's like the woman who gave me a printed boarding pass. She made it sound as if she'd moved the oceans, you know, to accommodate me, because now they just have e-tickets, e-boarding passes to save the world. And I mean, on your phone. And what if you've got a problem with your phone? What if the network's down? What a whole lot of things could happen. Your battery could die on you. There's nothing wrong with the old school stuff at times. It's the same sort of mentality that people want to get rid of cash. And I think that is just insane. We go totally digital. if the system crashes, we're stuffed. And the same applies with boarding passes. And it's such a petty, stupid thing to do. But they've still got people that fly with them, and I'm surprised, because I know that their ratings have dropped, so there is some there's some kickback to it for sure. They're getting a bit of they're losing their reputation, but I think it'll just grow, because people like me, I wasn't even aware, and there's nowhere does it tell you that they don't have you can't get normal boarding passes. You can't get them printed out, whereas you can at Jetstar. And Jetstar is owned by the same company, so work that out. This is corporate madness, and just and you know, with some crazy green agenda, think they're going to save the world by not printing out boarding passes. I mean, how bloody ridiculous! This classic example of virtue signalling, just insane. But so yeah, my opinion of Qantas has gone down to the extent that when I'm going to have to go back to Brisbane to have the oil removed from my eyes, and when I do, I'm going to have to try to get they'll provide me with the airline tickets. I'll say to them, please put me on a Virgin flight or even Jetstar, but not Qantas. I just want to avoid them, because they're crap. They just don't care about their passengers. They couldn't give a stuff. And that's how I feel about them now. So, yeah, pretty angry about that, but very happy to be back in Cairns. It's a nice relief, and at least I got an Uber at a reasonable price. It was about $44. I was quite happy with that. So, because I was absolutely stuffed when I got back, because we got in around 9 o'clock. We were supposed to get in at 6. And of course, I'd had to get the 6 a.m. flight, so I was I don't know how business people do it, handle these sorts of flights and things. Maybe they sleep on the plane. But yeah, I was really stuffed by the end of it. So luckily, I got a good Uber driver. He was a nice guy, and Filipino actually. As usual, I just missed the bus at this particular bus stop near the hospital. Happens all the time. I have terrible luck with this particular bus stop. Got to go down to right down to where the Cairns Central is, and then I'll head off down the road and to the voting booth, which is early voting is available at the showgrounds. I'll go down there near where I used to live, so that'll be a little bit of a walk, but not too bad, and get that out of the way today. It's not raining, at least. I was a bit worried that it was actually going to rain today, but just a little overcast, and very blowy though. I don't know if you can hear it in the mic, but boy, it's quite a breeze. But yeah, so that's that'll be, once I get that out of the way and get some shopping done, and hopefully get home at a reasonable hour. At least that didn't take too long in the hospital. I got out pretty quickly today, but not quickly enough to get that bus. And I'll probably have to wait half an hour for the next one. As it happens, they come in bunches. Very annoying. So I don't expect to see another one coming around the corner for ages. So I reckon I missed that one by about 1 minute. So it's quite frustrating. But not as frustrating as yesterday with the plane. So that 3-hour wait, that was awful. I'll have to do my civic duty and vote in this election. And going to vote for one of the non-main characters. There's only about 6 candidates, I think, so it's not too bad. Don't have to worry about Senate ballot papers or anything like that, because it's just a state election. So it's fairly simple. So I know I'm going to vote for, but I'll still get those stupid how to vote cards shoved in my face. I always refuse them. I did my research online. It was pretty easy. Just went to the Electoral Commission site and got the details, and I was in business. Very easy. That guy's going to ignore the pedestrian lights. Thank you very much. and I wouldn't have expected a bike rider to obey the laws. So it's been a while since I walked down here. Had to do this when I was going from my old place in Parramatta Park to do the shopping. It's been a long time since I've done this, maybe a couple of years since I've walked along this route. If you see some of my old videos you wouldn't notice this, but you have to be going back about 3 to 4 years now. I don't miss the old Parramatta Park. And funnily enough, I know someone that's just bought a place there, so although the house they got looks really nice, so I was quite surprised actually that it was so good. At half the size of my block of land, but in this suburb and with the interiors are a lot better than my house, so you know, I'll be totally honest on that one. It's my place needs quite a bit of work, needs a new kitchen and bathroom, that's for sure. And I might even start doing something about that. But the one that she's purchased is actually all done by the looks of things. So it'd be nice to actually buy a house so we don't have to do any renovations. Because, you know, if you're not a handyman, it's a lot of work trying to find people that you want to work on your place at a reasonable price. It's not easy. So it's easier to buy a place that's already done, and I haven't really done that. Even the flat I bought needed a few renovations done. And one of the major ones I should have got done straight away was actually put a new oven in. I didn't realise how cheap it would be and how easy to install. Harvey Norman did a really good job on that one. So they're only down the road, so it didn't cost bugger all with delivery and everything. So, but now I'm in the Northern Beaches, it's a bit different, the economics of it. So I need the walk anyway, so I'm going down to the showgrounds. I don't think I've ever seen anything in the showgrounds regarding events or anything. The only time I've ever been there is something like voting. I think I might have voted there once before. I'm pretty sure I did. Okay, I'll make sure. Yeah, these busy inner suburban roads. Got to keep my eyes open for this sort of thing. There's quite a bit of traffic here. Yeah, another one there, but I'll wait till these cars go past. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of crossings here. It's a bit of a drag. Well, I'm glad it's Monday's out of the way. I was dreading having to go on that trip to Brisbane, because all it was for was a couple of tests on my eyes and a consultation. The good news is that the girl I had the consultation with, she was really good, much better than the previous time. She was quite chatty and gave me some good information. She wasn't the main guy who I might have seen last time. He was pretty terse. But she was much more open, much better to talk to. So, you know, in the medical profession, it's not just about your technical expertise, it's also your people handling skills. So, there you go. So looking down Mulgrave Road. Now, see if I get a... Oh, I should be alright. Yep, lots of crossings. It's ridiculous. I don't miss all this. It's very convoluted. And yet another one. Good place across the road here, Beaumont Tiles. Very good. Very impressed with them last time I was here. I don't know, is those lights going to change? I don't know, they're not, because there's still traffic going. So it'll be alright. Be waiting late forever for those lights. Okay. Yeah, just going to get this out of the way. I could do it next week. The actual election itself, the election day is the 26th. So I've got a bit of time, but I'd prefer to just get it done now. All these car yards and things around here, it's not particularly nice looking. A lot of crap like that around here. Yeah, the beaches are so much nicer. It's a nice view of the hills back there, I guess, but this sort of stuff I could do without. We're on the opposite side of the road to Clare Street, just over there next to that what used to be a movie theatre and now some sort of a social worker type foster home place, I think. Foster care, not sure exactly what it is, but some social welfare thing. Yeah, and my old flat is just a door or so down behind the highway, so I'm in a much quieter place now, much nicer. So now we're just heading towards the showgrounds, and hopefully the details online are correct and I will be able to vote there. Yeah, well, that was pretty quiet, which is what I wanted, to get a nice quiet time to do it. One thing I noticed that all the candidates, they had their party affiliations next to them, so that helped identify them. I think it's a smart move because most people probably don't even know the names of the candidates, so it makes sense. So anyway, that's all out of the way. And here's all the paraphernalia that confronts you when you walk up here. There you go. Totally useless on me because I've already done my research. Anyway. Actually, the Labor Party guy said, "G'day, I'm Labor," and I said, I should have said commiserations, but I wasn't fast enough. Well, that bus trip ended up a lot more successfully today than that Qantas flight yesterday. I got the 110 bus which goes to Palm Cove, and it stopped up at the Cook Highway. So I got off at that stop, and it was a few minutes late, and I could see on my phone, I was looking at the schedule, and the Trinity Beach bus was due at the same time, 4:40. And so I thought there's a toss-up whether I'd missed the 111 or not. There's a woman who was driving the 110, and a woman who actually stopped at the one with the 111, which only took about a minute after I got off the bus, and the 111 was following straight behind, and so that was perfect. So it avoided having to walk all the way home from the Cook Highway, which has got the benefits of the health, but it's getting close to 5 o'clock, and I want to have a dark and stormy, and maybe start doing some cooking. So we'll see. But it's just nice to get home at a civilised hour tonight compared to last night, when I think it was about 9:30 when I got home, even with the Uber ride. So that was ridiculous. But, yeah, tonight should be a lot more civilised, so that's good. Still feeling a bit tired, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow without any travel required. It's going to be heaven. So that's going to be really good. A nice relaxing day. That's definitely on the agenda right now. So yeah, I can just kick back. Looking forward to it. Well, it's Wednesday, and I really enjoy Wednesdays because it's the beginning of the week of leisure for me. I'm always committed to Tuesdays, and this week I had Monday as well, which is the worst of them because I had to go to Brisbane. You know all about that, my whinging about the Qantas flight in particular. But today I'm heading off to get some medication. I've been prescribed some new eye drops for my right eye, which is the one that will need to have the oil removed from. And they've given me some different drops for compared to with the COSOP, which I've been taking for ages. The thing is, the COSOP has been keeping the pressure down on both my eyes. So, before this one had the retinal problems, that seems to have boosted the pressure, and the high pressure in the eyes is dangerous. It can lead to problems with your eyesight. And I'm thinking what I'm going to do is contact Brisbane and see what the cost would be for me to pay for the operation if I'm ready to go now. It would be better to get it done straight away rather than wait 3 months. But I'm not sure what out-of-pocket expenses I'd have. Presumably something like $5,000, I'd imagine. Just sort of plucking a figure out of thin air, but I can only ask anyway and see what the cost would be. Because if damage has been caused in the interim until I get this appointment, well, I don't want to push my luck. It's not with eyesight. It's too important. So that's the situation there, and I'm getting these eye drops. Will hopefully reduce the high pressure in the right eye. So I only have to take them once a day too, which is a good thing, because I had 2 lots of old drops that they gave me, and I had to take them twice a day. This one's just 1 drop once a day, so just my old COSOP, or the equivalent of, and then which is in both eyes twice a day, and then the other one just once a day. So that's at least a reduction in the medication too, so that's good. But I'm not sure. They've given me a different formula to COSOP, because I just rang up the chemist and they said that the one that they'd given me as a substitute for COSOP is different to the one that the eye specialist has prescribed. Now, I don't know if that's important, because, as I say, COSOP has been working, so I'll just get a clarification with them, because I've got this other prescription in the fridge ready to go, and I'll just get some guidance from them, see what they think. I don't want to stuff around being on the same medication if they think this other one is superior, so I just want to get that clarified. So it's a bit to think about, and decided not to ride the bike to Trinity Beach Pharmacy today. I'm just going to walk, and I could have actually gone to Kauara, I suppose, but it's a nicer walk to Trinity Beach anyway, so it's better for the push bike, because you don't get quite, it's a flatter ride, so it's the advantage there. I tried to I looked up information on the upcoming election, and the Cairns Post claims that they've got some figures already on the which is pretty early, because the early voting only started on Monday, so it's only been a couple of days, and they apparently have got some figures that are saying that it's going to be a close contest here, but not the rest of the state. It looks as though Labor's in real strife. No surprise there, that's been tracking for some time. But maybe here it's a bit more left of centre than other provincial electorates especially. I mean, Cairns is a bit different because there's so many out-of-towners, and I know a couple of people in the drinking group that I go to from time to time are pretty hard left. They might all be, for all I know. Which I don't think is necessarily the norm here at all, but yeah, well, anyway, that's the situation, I think. But I can't get details of the early voting on from the Electoral Commission. They're not supplying anything. Maybe Cairns Post is just getting exit poll figures or something, which may not be official. I don't know. It'd be a fairly small sample anyway, I'd imagine, so I wouldn't read too much into it. And the thing about it is that early voting profiles may not reflect the overall voting profile. There might be more people right of centre voting on election day. So we'll see. Kamala Harris is in desperate straits. Apparently they're just panicking big time, her group. I think she's in for a real thrashing, personally. But the latest thing she's done is really unethical. She's tried to make out that Donald Trump is in cognitive decline because he was waiting on stage not saying anything in a recent rally in Pennsylvania. The reason he was not saying anything is because there was a medical emergency in the crowd. So in deference, obviously, to the person who's in distress, he just shut up. He was playing some favourite songs. He sort of spontaneously, the rally turned into a bit of a musical with different songs being played. And for that portion, because of these, there were actually 2 medical emergencies during his Trump's time on stage. And like I say, he didn't want to say anything while the medicos are doing their bit. And but of course, NBC played that up and actually just reiterated what the Kamala Harris team had told them, that it was an example of Trump's cognitive decline. You know, just desperate stuff because, you know, from what I've seen, Trump is pretty well sharp as a tack. And if you're trying to go to paint him with the same brush as Joe Biden, give me a break. They're in a different league. Joe Biden is definitely, he's got dementia. He's gone. So that's how low they're stooped. And one of the funny things is that the ABC, who were the ones who set up the debate, and it was just so one-sided, they actually told the full story. They told the truth. And I think it was NBC who basically just towed the Harris line. So that was very unusual to expect. Maybe the ABC realised that their credibility's been shot after that debate, and they're trying to cling on to some level of credibility while the because if you go too far, I think MSNBC, well, MSNBC, and they're pretty left wing, and they've lost a lot of ratings. I know that, and I think most of the mainstream media are suffering big time. People are doing well. Apparently, people like online, like Megyn Kelly's doing well. Joe Rogan going gangbusters. Kamala's begging Joe Rogan for her to be on his podcast. I don't think Joe Rogan will bother. I mean, I don't think he's got a very high opinion of her. He's made it fairly clear, actually. So he wants to play the middle of the road type position with politics, but it's hard to support someone like her. I will say that she's been misrepresented in the past too. I've got to say, I know that the Trump team or someone supporting Trump, they actually had a clip of her talking like a simpleton about the solar system and what have you. But that was taken from a meeting she had with kids, so she was attempting to talk to their level, I guess. So, you know, they can distort, both camps can distort the truth to suit their own agendas. The thing that annoys me about Kamala, though, she's just the same as Hillary Clinton, is she goes to different parts of the country and puts on different accents, or talking to different demographic groups. It's really sus. And well, I picked up my eye drops after buying a couple of multi-grain rolls. $1.80 they were, so they're a bit more than you pay at the supermarket, but they're a bit larger, I guess. And so just see, I couldn't get any this week. What the hell? I found out how much I'd be paying for my these eye drops I picked up. If I had to pay full price, it'd be $37. But because I'm on the pension, it's about $770, huge saving. So given the way my body's collapsing on me, all the medication that I'm having, at least the eye drops hopefully be under control once the oil's out, but they'll still have to take the COSOP or equivalent anyway. I've been on that for probably over several decades, I'd say. So, without modern medical intervention, I would have been blinded by my 40s and totally dependent on the state for everything if you don't have your eyesight, because I had cataracts. Very early age in my 40s, had them both done. And apparently retinal, if you have a retinal dislodgement, then that can also lead to a greater chance of cataracts. But if you already had the cataracts done, I don't know if that's going to be such an issue. But all you can do is just live every day as it comes. And look, my quality of life's fine at the moment. I can get around, walk to the pharmacy and back and enjoy a drink or two and do a bit of travel. So, it keeps things going. I can laugh at the American election campaign, which is a bit of a circus. So it's always good to keep yourself amused. The other thing that's happened with Kamala is even Saturday Night Live, which is an extremely left-wing comedy show, which really hasn't been rating well for a long time because it's just skewed towards one side, lampooning one side of politics. They've actually had a go at Kamala. I don't think that was what's her name? Well-known actress. I just can't think of her name off the top of my head. She's got her own sitcoms and stuff, and she's not bad actually. Anyway, so she was doing the. I actually didn't see how she did the sketch, but the Greg Gutfeld show did the same sort of thing, but they had a guy who's a Trump impersonator, as well as another woman who's a very good Kamala impersonator. Does the laugh really well. And, that's the funny thing about Kamala. I thought that she was going to basically not cackle during the whole election campaign, but that's not the case. She selectively cackles depending on which audience she's with, of course. So, yes. I think the thing is, I just don't think, apart from her policies, her personality and everything, what she's doing in big time is losing male votes. She's really doing poorly there. I think she may actually be slightly more popular with females than Trump, but with males, including black males and Latino males, Kamala is really losing it. And those are the sort of minority demographics that the Democrats have been hanging on for years now, but they're losing them. And I think they're going to have a tough time because not just Trump, but J.D. Vance is also a very good debater and a very sharp mind and much younger, and I think he'll be a solid contender for the following election. So the Dems are going to have to come up with better candidates. It's going to be an uphill battle for them, especially if the economy's in decent shape in 4 years. And that's a big if, of course, because there's a lot of challenges. I think the Aussie economy would be in worse shape than America, though. We're too dependent on exporting resources to places like China, and now China's going down the gurgler. They've just had a stimulus package, but apparently it's having no effect. I mean, it's just flogging a dead horse. And there is even talk of revolution in China, that because a lot of young people can't get jobs, there is a lot of dissent towards Xi Jinping. I don't know if the guy will last. China's standard of living has not been doing well since he's taken over. So they're the sorts of things that hurt. The other thing, apparently the Indian rupee's just devalued big time. Not quite sure what happened there. But that was a surprise. I didn't look at that's on Joe Blogs. who does economics, English guy, and I haven't checked that story out yet to find out what the details are of that, but I guess they're not doing that well with exports or whatever for that to occur. So I would have thought India would be in better position than China and take up some of that slack, but maybe not. I think Vietnam's recovering a bit, although it's still great value to travel to. I made another booking the other day, going a little more upmarket, spending about $40 Oz a night for accommodation in a place in District 7. It's got really, really nice interiors. The only thing that's against it is the Wi-Fi's apparently didn't get a high rating, so I mentioned that to the owners, and hopefully you can make sure that I get a room that's got decent Wi-Fi. Well, that's essential these days, I think, especially if you're doing these sorts of blogs. You know, you don't want to be stuffing around with second-rate Wi-Fi, because Wi-Fi in Vietnam is better than in Oz, much better. We're a joke, and you know, sad to say, but that NBN was a disaster. I remember all the people, all the boosters for it, saying how wonderful it's going to be, how we're going to have telemedicine, all this BS. It never happened. And the cost of it is ridiculous because it's in government hands. And, you know, we've got to have government, but you want to make it as efficient as possible. That's another reason I'm optimistic about Trump if he gets in. He's going to have Elon Musk there as sort of an efficiency expert to oversee government. I think it's well overdue to have that type of thing in every liberal democracy. We need people from outside. I think in Australia, someone of the ilk of Dick Smith, maybe someone younger than that, but someone with that business savvy that can consult on streamlining government services, because it's in every taxpayer's interest to have a more efficient public sector, because you get more bang for your buck. And don't we all want that? But we all know there's inefficiencies, and NBN's one of the biggest ones. I mean, the irony of that is NBN people running it are the highest paid public servants. So, you know, it's classic public service where the performance is poor and you get rewarded for it. I mean, it makes no sense in the real world. But, and you know, of course, the other big problem was the FAA with Starship holding it up. Thank God they were able to get the flight done just a few days ago, because otherwise we'd have to wait until late next month, and that's just ridiculous. We may even get a sixth flight before maybe before Christmas, before the new year anyway. But I'm not hanging out for that. I think maybe January. But the thing about the Starship thing is, now that the actual launch vehicle, the renewable rocket, the Super Heavy, has been proven. They can catch it, they can presume. We've got to find out how easy it is to refurbish it, but I don't see that it'd be much worse. Well, it should be a lot better, actually, than the Falcon 9 refurbishments, because they're using different fuel. They're using a methane-based fuel, which burns much cleaner than the traditional fuel that they're using in the Falcon 9. So, from what I can gather, it should actually... That's why it is fully reusable, apart from the ring they've got between the booster and the actual Starship, which is jettisoned at the moment, but that's just a design change required there, and I'll get rid of that. But the point I'm making is that the actual booster itself is proven technology, so if you want to just lob something up into orbit and not come back, it's there now. So if they want to send up a whole lot of Starlink satellites, there's nothing stopping them from doing it now. If they can have they just basically have a big fairing on top of the rocket, and they can try to get the fairing back, but much cheaper than an actual Starship, which is not proven technology yet, because there was some problems with the heat shields as far as the fins are concerned. I think the actual Starship itself was fine. It came down okay, but there was some damage to one of the fins that provides the control for the Starship. The plasma that's caused by going through the atmosphere burned away quite a bit of the metal there. So that was just one of them. The other two seem to fare a bit better. So they're getting better at it, but the actual Starship itself is not proven technology yet. But I think we can safely say that the super heavy booster is and can be retrieved. Have done it now. So why not put a commercial or put it like a Starlink payload into a fairing? I don't know if they've thought of that, putting it in a different configuration, not using the Starship itself, but just using a fairing that can, because they've done that before and they've retrieved the fairings and refurbished them. And so I don't see why they couldn't build a bigger one for Starship and just send out a whole lot of Starlink satellites. But maybe there is a technical reason why they're not doing that. But from my perspective, I think they've made huge gains by just getting the super heavy working perfectly and retrieving it. Huge plus. It looks like the weather's a bit better now. I think I want to mention about Qantas was another weird thing about it. It had this guy who was dressed like he was going to a formal dinner. He had a jacket on and everything. And he was like a greeter guy when you walk through the actual into the plane. And he didn't seem to do the same work that the other crew did. He did a little bit of it. He collected some rubbish later on, but maybe he was doing something else. But it was just strange to see this guy sort of wearing such formal attire, like a jacket, a dark sort of navy jacket. And it's sort of like a PR exercise. I mean, I think the thing about Qantas is they're big on their image, but when it comes to actually customer care, when your pilot won't even say sorry for a 3-hour delay to the passengers and is prioritising the welcome to country stuff over that, well, I think we've got ourselves a woke airline that I don't want to travel on again until they refocus to customer service. I haven't looked at the reviews for Qantas yet online, the Google reviews, but I'm anticipating it's going to get some pretty bad feedback. I know it will on productreview.com, but everybody gets bagged on productreview.com, so that's just a gripe forum, really. So I don't know if you can hold that much with that, but Google's is a pretty representative sort of sample. A lot of people use Google to review. I do when I go overseas, and for local stuff too. Not so much here though. It hasn't been that much stuff to review really, but I think Qantas is due for one. And like I said, when Jetstar is actually providing better customer service than Qantas, you've got to ask a few questions. Well, I think you do anyway.